Okay, you've done the hard part. Now deliver those goods undamaged and we'll get paid in full.
Plane into the air. Its weaker engines and need for a ski ramp for takeoff assist means that the J-15 cannot take off with as much fuel or weapons as an American plane, a critical vulnerability in carrier-on-carrier combat. By comparison, the American Ford class is predicted to field between 75 and 92 aircraft, potentially tripling its combat power versus the Chinese Type 001A. More important, though, is the configuration of the American Air Wing versus the Chinese Air Wing. A Ford-class carrier will be equipped with stealthy F-35s, EA-18G Growler electronic attack jets, MQ-25 Stingray refueling and reconnaissance drones, and E-2D Hawkeye airborne early warning and control aircraft. The addition of electronic attack, airborne refueling, and early warning aircraft to the American Air Wing means that U.S. jets will be able to fly further, for longer, and fire first on radar-jammed and blind Chinese fighters. In the combat calculus of armaments, it is a no-contest win for the United States, who comes armed with triple the firepower and more sophisticated fighter and support aircraft. So who would win in a fight between the Chinese Type 001A and an American Ford-class carrier? The United States brings proven combat veterancy and decades of experience in both operating and building aircraft carriers. Its new Ford-class carriers are not only based on a proven design, but will come equipped with the world's first fifth-generation aircraft and have plenty of capability to adopt emerging technologies such as energy and railgun weapons. While a brave and very impressive start, the Chinese Type 001A is still just that, a start based on an obsolete design for a nation that for decades had no interest in aircraft carriers. Still, some critics argue that the Ford class is too ambitious and fields too many new technologies that have never been tested in combat. Should the worst come to pass, and an American Ford carrier ever finds itself in combat versus China's Type 001A, the victor will almost certainly be the American ship. But who knows? Maybe somewhere deep within the American high-tech carrier lies a critical vulnerability that may spell doom for America's flagships.
November 2nd, 2021, the world is reeling from the economic devastation brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. And for world powers, some might see it as an opportunity to make a move. Believing the United States is too distracted by China and the lingering effects of the coronavirus, Russia makes its move in Eastern Europe, seeking at last to reunify its military conclave of Kaliningrad with the motherland. It will also cut off the renegade Soviet provinces of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia from NATO, and force them back into the loving arms of Mother Russia. NATO immediately responds, but quick reaction forces stationed along Eastern Europe are no match for the overwhelming might of the Russian army. It'll take weeks for NATO to organize a proper military response, but the United States has already begun to strike back. Not in Eastern Europe, but in the Pacific. A U.S. naval task force, part of the U.S. Pacific Command, is on its way to attack the headquarters of the Russian Pacific Fleet in Vladivostok. Russia's Far East has always been problematic for the Russian military to defend. The incredible size of Russia makes reinforcing the Far East extremely difficult and impossible to accomplish in a timely manner. Then again, the U.S. stands to gain little by attacking Russia's Far East, except for knocking the Russians out of the Pacific for good. A push into Russia from the east is impossible. The distance to any military objectives worth seizing in the west is entirely too far, and transportation networks easily sabotaged by the Russians. Russia, however, is not ready to give up its presence in the Pacific, and luckily for it, the Russian Pacific Fleet is its second most powerful fleet. Suffering from years of neglect, though, that's not saying much. Steaming off their home port to meet the first American carrier strike group en route to their shores is a fleet consisting of 6 destroyers and a half-dozen corvettes, led by the cruiser